Welcome back to another episode of FLAmerica. Today we're bringing it from a super special place. We're here in Chase Stadium, the home of Messi's Inter Miami, having some fans walking through here. FLAmengo today is playing a preseason game against São Paulo. So far in the first half, it's been 0-0. We're going to bring you field access right here, row one, as well as get to meet some of the fans. All the best.
What is going on, guys? I hope you guys enjoyed that special interview. I know it's been a little while since the last episode, but we've been traveling. Leo is a little bit sick. Amongst other things, safe to say we are back. How you doing, Leo?
Doing much better, Rafa. Yeah, it was a shame I couldn't join you in the FLAmengo-São Paulo game, but as we saw on the intro video that you made at the stadium, and as we're going to be seeing later in this episode when you speak to some of the fans on our Meet the Fan at the stadium segment later in this video, you know, you're going to share a little bit of the fun it was being there. It's a shame I could miss it. Bad timing on my behalf to get a little sick there, but I'm great now. I'm doing fine. Glad to be back. So let's catch up and share some of FLAmengo updates. But I know what you're going to ask everybody to do before we continue, right?
Yes, guys, please like, subscribe, share the video, help us grow the channel. And we're excited to keep bringing you some premium content as we continue to get better, not only on the technological side, but on the technical side, bringing you some insider awesome information. So let's jump right in, Leo. Waste no time. Today we'll be speaking about the preseason in the United States, the match against São Paulo, which was held in Fort Lauderdale, as well as show you guys some Meet the Fan part segment directly from the stadium. So let's get right into it. The state league started, right? The Cariocão. Carioca, for those who don't know, is a way to describe someone who's from Rio. So the state title is a Campeonato Carioca, the Carioca Championship, the Rio Championship. What was your take, Leo, so far on the reserve squad's performance? Typically for the first couple games, the team plays the reserve squad as the main squad travels for other preseason games. So far, 1 win, 2 losses, and 1 draw. Maybe a bit subpar, but what is your take so far?
Yeah, Rafa, this is the part that has been most disappointing, I would think, for this beginning of the season. As the senior squad was preparing here in the United States and had its friendly match against São Paulo, and then we're going to talk about their first match once they went back to Brazil, the reserve squad was fielding or playing the first 4 matches of the state league and playing all much smaller clubs, playing clubs that participate in the 4th division of the Brazilian league, and even some squads that don't even play in the national championship. And to come out of those 4 games with 1 win, 1 draw, and 2 losses is disappointing, right? And suffice to say, they also had some of the senior squad members that were not in Felipe Luis's plan throughout the season, and they disappointed. One can say that our folklorical Carlinhos did his part, I guess, by scoring 3 goals in those 4 matches. But now he's gone. We're going to talk about also transfer news, and Carlinhos is going to be departing the club. But by and large, it was disappointing, and we expected more from the junior squad, especially coming from the win against Olympiacos in the Club World Championship for the under-20s in Maracanã last year under Felipe Luis. So disappointing. I think that not triggered, but consolidated the rationale by the front office to essentially fire everybody that was involved with the junior squads, with the farm system. FLAmengo was replacing all of its pieces because there's a firm belief that a club like FLAmengo, with all of its infrastructure, its ability to recruit, should do better with the youth system, in the sense that we can bring some gems from that group to become big sales and help the club finances. So by and large, if you want to talk specifically about the performance of the junior squad of the 4 matches that they play in the Carioca League, disappointing is the way I would sum it up.
Yeah, sounds like you agree with me that it was a bit of an underwhelming performance and experience. We'd love to see the youth do a little bit better. It's not to say that they don't have a lot of promise, but when put to the test, clearly there needs to be a little bit of improvement. It could be some growing pains with the new leadership within FLAmengo, putting new people in new places. And we hope to see an improvement. Now, on the bright side, the fifth game was played by the full senior squad, the first competitive game of the year. And it was a pretty safe win, pretty sound, solid win, 2-0. We got to see some new debuts from Juninho, the attacker. Did you get a chance to see anything about him and see what was your opinion on how he played?
Yeah, it was his debut coming off the bench. The senior squad played a very controlled game. Yes, it was against a lesser team, but not a terrible team, Volta Redonda. And the score was a little bit on the skinny side, 2-0. However, the story of that game was total and absolute control by FLAmengo. FLAmengo had north of 75% of ball possession. FLAmengo exchanged north of 600 passes against Volta Redonda 75 or something like that. So it was crazy.
No, I saw Pulgar had more passes completed than their whole team.
Yeah, when your CDM completes more passes than the entire opponent, that tells you something about how the game went, right? So it was very controlled. Specifically talking about Juninho, we can talk more about him when we cover the transfer market so far, what FLAmengo's done in this transfer window up to this moment. But he get good movements. He makes good runs. He shows up. It seems like he's hungry to play. That's a good thing. He could have had he could have scored on a great pass by Arrascaeta when he missed the tap in there. But in any case, too early to rate him. But overall, I just like what I see in terms of ball possession. That reminded me a little bit of how we used to see Barcelona control games against lesser opposition, right? They would have just overwhelming ball control, and the other team was just there, trying to not get thrashed. So proof will be in the pudding a little bit in how we're doing so far in the season this coming Sunday when we face Botafogo on the Supercopa do Brasil, or the equivalent of the Community Shield. That's a game that will be played this coming Sunday in the north of Brazil against Botafogo, right? Defending champions of the Brazilian League and the Libertadores. FLAmengo will be playing that match as the defending champions of the Brazil Cup, or the Copa do Brasil. And that will be a great game to watch, right? That's usually the first important test of any season. And it's worth a trophy. It's worth bragging rights. It's worth getting the season started on the right foot. And it's against a local rival in Botafogo, right? So that's the game everybody should be looking forward to watch. That will be the first competitive match of the season, and it'll be an important one. So all eyes will be on that match this coming Sunday. And obviously we'll be back here next week covering how that game went. But by and large, good to have the senior team back. With the win against Volta Redonda, that's another important thing, Rafa. Since the junior squad did so poorly in the first 4 matches, we started to get concerned that FLAmengo was going to make it to the semifinals of the State League. So just to recap, the way the State League is structured, it's 12 teams. Everybody plays against everybody. The top 4 teams goes on to the semifinals and then on to the final. So the objective of this first round is to finish on the top 4. And having, gotten only 4 points in 4 matches, FLAmengo was not in a great spot. Good thing that the senior team is back. We captured another 3 points. Now we are encroaching in those top 4 spots. So hopefully we should have no problem qualifying to the semifinals.
I agree. And to put in short, really, FLAmengo real test, like you said, starts on Sunday against Botafogo. These games against this much, much lesser opposition is not a huge tell, but still important to get the points so we can actually qualify and defend our title in the Carioca that we won last year. FLAmengo in early February has some important games, right? First real test, as we just mentioned, Botafogo on Sunday, Supercopa Brasil final, and then followed by the following Saturday against Fluminense. 4 days after that, Botafogo again. 3 days after that, Vasco. So stuff's going to start turning up real soon. We have 2 games against Botafogo, a game against Fluminense, and a game against Vasco, all in the first 15 days of February. So those are going to be some big games, and tune in for that. Backtracking a little bit to that last preseason game against São Paulo. It was in Chase Stadium in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, the home of Inter Miami, who is Lionel Messi's team. Unfortunately, I was able to be there with my little brother, Victor. He was here in another one of the videos. And safe to say it was an awesome experience. Leo, I wish you could have been there. It was so cool to see how many Flamengo fans were able to be there. It almost felt like we were in Rio at certain points. And, the Flamengo fans singing just overwhelmed the small São Paulo fans. They even started singing a funny song like, uhul, aha, a torcida do São Paulo cabe num Fusca, something like that, which is basically saying the São Paulo, something like that, saying that the São Paulo fans could fit in a Fusca, which is a Brazilian small, essentially.
It's a Volkswagen Beetle.
Beetle, there you go.
Yeah.
Saying that their São Paulo fans could all fit in one Beetle. So it was a funny environment. Anyways, we actually took some videos and clips around the stadium. It was our first time doing an in-public recording with these new microphones, so some of the sound quality might be a little bit shot, but it's going to be cool to see, and we hope you guys enjoy these little clips and some authentic videos from actually within the stadium as we try a live in-person style coverage for the first time. So enjoy.
Walking around here, the Chase Stadium, full of Flamengo fans everywhere that we see. We can see how huge Flamengo's influence has been here in the United States. We're here in the city of Fort Lauderdale in Miami. It literally feels like we're in Rio de Janeiro. Just so you can see, have a little turnaround, how many fans have turned out today. It's spectacular to see as we continue to walk here out onto the fields, an area that's a little more calm. I can finally hear you guys and we can actually have a conversation. Here in the Chase Stadium, it's full of food trucks so y'all can see what a Flamengo game looks like in America. Right here we have Monster Burgers and Sweet Liberty. It's a commodity here in America to be able to eat some street food and street snacks. Let's go talk to a Flamengo fan here and see what they think. Walking here into the stadium, you get live coverage, live footage. This is what it looks like coming into a stadium here in America for the Florida Cup preseason series. No drinks or food allowed into the stadium. And as you're going to come out here, you're going to see how many Flamengo's fans made the journey. Let's check it out, Victor. Come out here. Take a look up here into a wave of Flamengo fans, and it's going to feel like we're back at home.
Nice, very nice. We're back in here. Did you like those little clips and videos, Leo?
It's awesome, man. I just wish I was there with you guys. Unfortunate, it was not meant to be, but glad you had a chance to do it, and glad you had a chance to enjoy the Flamengo game and the Flamengo fans in person.
Awesome. Well, hope you guys enjoyed that. Just to wrap it up, we're going to have a brief conversation regarding the transfer market. The notable departures were from Gabigol, obviously, David Luiz, and the sale of Fabrício Bruno. Fabrício Bruno and Gabigol now both play for Cruzeiro. I had I had the chance, actually, I should say, I don't know if it was honorable, to watch Gabigol and Fabrício Bruno's debuts in the Florida Cup series in Orlando. I watched the Cruzeiro Atlético Mineiro game and the Cruzeiro São Paulo game, and I'll tell you this much, I'm very glad we got rid of Gabigol. He looked unfit, uncoordinated, and I'm just glad he's not on the Flamengo shirt. I'm glad for what he did for us, but God, it was ugly to see. And Fabrício Bruno, I mean, he's solid, but I don't know if I don't know. I think we can do better, especially if we're trying to build a caliber team to compete in the Mundial and potentially win it. Safe to say, I think it was good departures. Would you agree?
Yeah, Rafa, David Luiz and Gabigol, they were at the end of their contracts, right? So they were going to be able to sign wherever they wanted. And the reality is they were paid a lot of money, right? Their salaries were very high, and they expect to continue to make good money, right? Especially Gabigol. So Flamengo was not prepared to pay what they wanted him yet, and Cruzeiro was, right? So, all right, let him, he served his time. He didn't end his career in Flamengo the best way for a number of reasons we covered this year before, but he will always be remembered by what he was able to deliver for Flamengo in a magical time. A whole new wave of fans have been drawn to Flamengo because of what Gabigol did for a number of years when he was at his peak. So no ill feelings. I think it was a very good overall relationship, and now this was the time for him to move on. Wish him the best. Let's see if he can turn around his career and perform for Cruzeiro. If not, that it is what it is. David Luiz also, at his age, Flamengo didn't need to pay what he expects to get. So, there was another club that was willing to do that. Let them step up. Good luck. Thanks, David Luiz. Very nice guy. No problems. We wish him luck and a nice tail end of his career. Now, as for Fabrício Bruno, Flamengo, he wanted to leave. He wanted to leave Flamengo. Why did he want to leave Flamengo? Because it became clear to him that under Felipe Luis and how Felipe Luis sees soccer, you need to be able, not only you need to be fit, you need to be strong as a defender, right? You need to be fit, strong, fast, all of that, which he is. At his peak, he made it to the national team. But you need to know how to play with the ball. Felipe Luis likes to keep ball possession. He likes passing. He likes skills. And Fabrício Bruno's strength is certainly not Pereira have way better skills than Fabrício Bruno does. So Fabrício Bruno noticed that he was going to be a bench player, and he didn't want to be a bench player. And Cruzeiro was willing to pay him good money, and Flamengo was able to negotiate a very good transfer fee to allow Fabrício Bruno to move to Cruzeiro. So that was a normal transaction. Now, obviously, that creates the need for Flamengo to bring in another defender, which we did, right? And Rafa. So these are the departures. Now, how about the arrivals so far?
Yeah, getting into the arrivals, pretty exciting. The Juninho one was like just a warm up. Clearly, hopefully he does well. It's more to have somebody there and hopefully mend the gap until Pedro comes back. If he does awesome, sweet. Maybe he can start with Pedro, but if not, at least he can hold some ground. I think anything's better than Carlinhos, although Carlinhos is like a Carioca Superman. So let's see how he does. But here's the awesome news. Danilo, a super coveted right back, who also plays center back, played for Juventus, Manchester City, these top clubs in Europe, has been the captain of the national team, captain of Juventus, I believe, as well, and a longtime starter for Man City. Also has played alongside Alexandro in Juventus in the past. He's coming in. I think it's a huge, huge thing. I can tell by who we're signing that the front office of Flamengo is not looking to invest to win in a couple years. They're investing to win now. So that is awesome and exciting. We got Danilo coming in. I think he'll be an amazing partnership. If Wesley stays, he'll maybe play center back with Leo Ortiz. If Wesley departs, he could move to right back, and we have Leo Pereira and Leo Ortiz in the middle. So it's really, really exciting with Danilo coming in, and also the possible arrival of Jorginho. This could be huge, Leo, huh?
Massive. And before we touch on Jorginho, I just want to make a few comments about the two signings, right? Very different signings. We're talking about Danilo. Danilo is like a proven player, world-class player, right? Starter of the Brazilian national team in a couple of World Cups. Played years for Juventus at a high level. And he still had, and this is important, he still had 6 months to go in his contract with Juventus. And he wanted, this is very important here, Rafa, two things that it shows, right? Danilo wanted to come play for Flamengo, and he was able to convince Juventus to release him on a free transfer. Okay, he still had ongoing contract. Juventus is still, fighting for the Champions League spot there in the Italian league, and he had a firm offer from Napoli. Napoli sits atop of the Serie A in Italy, so Danilo turned down an offer from Napoli to come play with Flamengo. That tells you something. That tells you something about what Flamengo has become in the eyes of some of these, seasoned, proven international players. But it also shows, hopefully, that Flamengo and with the new management with José Boto, who knows all his way around Europe, can orchestrate these negotiations that land top-class players in Flamengo without having to break the bank. That is key. Awesome. And as you said, Danilo, he can step in and play a center back, as he's been doing for Juve. And, if necessary, he can obviously play right back. Now, as far as Juninho is concerned, before we get to Jorginho, because I really want to talk about him too, Juninho, it's a gamble in a way, right? We got to admit that this is a gamble. It costs money. He wasn't, a very cheap player. I think it was, 6 million euros, and he was playing in Azerbaijan, not the first country you think about when you're talking about top tier leagues. So that's a little bit of a question mark. However, and this is an important however, he had an offer from Sevilla in Spain. Sevilla is a very, very strong club in Spain, and he chose to come to FLAmengo. So Sevilla was coveting him, had an offer for him, and he preferred to come back home and play for FLAmengo. So we'll see what develops. This is what they call kind of a scout pick. Boto and his team scouted him in Azerbaijan and signed him. So did Sevilla. He chose FLAmengo. Now, on to the main course of this, Jorginho, right? Now, Jorginho is a different story. Danilo, you can argue, who's in the tail end of his career. Juninho, you can argue, is a gamble. Jorginho, he played several games for Arsenal this year. He started in several of those. He was the champion of the Euro from playing for Italy, and he's never played in Brazil before. And Arsenal wanted to extend his contract. Now, it's not confirmed yet whether or not he's going to end in FLAmengo. Things are looking bright. Apparently, he was able to negotiate a release from Arsenal, and one can only interpret that this is the release that he signed with somebody. And all of what the insiders are talking about is that FLAmengo is getting closer and closer to an agreement with him. Now, to me, that is even more impressive, Rafa. Somebody who starts often for Arsenal, somebody that Arsenal wants to extend the contract, wanting to play for FLAmengo and negotiating a free transfer. That is huge news. This is, and it's not only huge news because I think Jorginho is of a different class and will absolutely should shine in the Brazilian league, but it also signals how playing for FLAmengo is not just what you do at the end of your career to fulfill a childhood dream. This 100%. Is players with options. So what message does that send? It sends a message that FLAmengo is on the prime time, is on a prime spot, and it also signals that FLAmengo now is able to negotiate deals in Europe that doesn't require a massive check, right? Because people will take money, but one thing is a free transfer. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed because I think Jorginho will be perfect fit for the FLAmengo squad. His playing style is a perfect fit for how Felipe Luis likes to play. He's an ideal CDM to impose ball possession, to make the different pass. Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to that. If that is confirmed, Rafa, my expectation level will take a significant jump. I already have good expectations, high expectations, but Jorginho will be, a great sign.
Yeah, right. Not only for, like you said, how good he'll be as a player, but what it'll mean for the club of FLAmengo, as well as Brazilian football, right? We see a recent news to wrap it up here. Neymar going to Santos is almost 100% confirmed. So that's something crazy and awesome too. I think it'll bring a lot more eyes to the Brazilian soccer game.
Absolutely.
As well as if one of us, obviously, hopefully FLAmengo, goes far in the Mundial. It's another reason for players to want to come to the Brazilian league. And as it continues to grow, this has been great just for Brazilian soccer as a whole. So
absolutely,
extremely exciting.
Rafa, so before we go to the Meet the Fan at the Stadium segment, let's ask everybody another time for that like, that subscribe, share the video. And again, if you want to participate on the next Meet the Fan segment, just drop us a comment with your contact information. We'll engage with you or your email. We'll make sure you're featured in an upcoming episode. We appreciate everything. So please drop that like and subscribe.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And before we hit the outro, go check out this Meet the Fan real quick of us at the stadium with these two guys, which you're going to see in a second. Be right back.
What's going on, guys? We're here with two fans here at the Chase Stadium. One has a great name, Rafael as well, and Kunji here. How has it been getting to experience FLAmengo here in Miami?
It's great. The atmosphere, it's lit. All the hype, all the people here, it's a great environment.
It's amazing. And Kunji, being here, does it feel like it's almost Does it give a sensation like we're back in Rio?
Well, I've never been to Rio, but yeah, this is like it's been a lot of noise in the stadium, which is it gives you goosebumps, you know.
That's
It's
awesome.
fun. It's my first time experiencing something like this. So.
First time. Well, hey, the first half was 0-0. How do you think the second half is going to go? And what do you think FLAmengo needs to do in order to win?
I'd say 1-0 FLAmengo at the end.
Okay.
And they got to stop losing the ball like in the area over there.
Awesome. How about you, Kendra? What do you think the final score will be?
I think it's going to be 1-0 as well. And they just got to watch for counter attacks.
Awesome. Well, you heard it here first. We'll catch you on the next one. See you guys.
Nice little in-person meet the fan. Hope you guys enjoy that. Enjoy this video. Some in-cuts and out-cuts of different little cuts and scenes and videos and pictures. And hope you guys enjoy that style, a little more interactive and a long cut podcast episode. Although we know you guys enjoy looking at our face for 30 minutes. Hopefully it's nice to have a little change like that. So thank you for that episode. We will probably be tuning back in here covering the Supercopa. So expect episodes soon. Shout out to Alexandre Freitas for always reaching out and keeping the energy high. And that's a big fan of ours, and we've had him on the show once before, so I want to give a shout out to him. But anyways, God bless everybody, and we'll tune you guys in and see you in the next episode. Thank you, Leo.
Thank you, Rafa. Vamos, Flamengo.
Let's go.